Good morning. Welcome, Unity Bay Area, Houston. So I know everybody's confused because we have new seating arrangement here today, and it's really kind of been a dream of mine to always have it more semicircle, and it happened for a wedding yesterday, and we decided we love it. It works for the camera, it works for everything else. You may notice there's more space between the rows so that you can get by one another, and we're so grateful. So grateful to have each one of you here today that are with us in person and those that are joining us online. Thank you so much. Let us know you're here. Tell us where you are and say good morning as well. I had a wonderful present as I just walked up this morning, and I have to share it with you all that one of our preteens brought up a beautiful picture, and I know you're not going to probably be able to see it very well, but it says Unity Church, Community Church, and she's got flowers growing everywhere, and like our beautiful grounds out here. And I just think it's so beautiful that our kids are so excited to be here and to bring their energy into this ministry and to be a part of it. So we're grateful for that too. And we're grateful for each of you because you bring your energy here. And you may be feeling all the good energy. Anybody feeling good vibes in here today? There was a beautiful wedding, lots of love, lots of dancing. So there's a lot of good energy here right now. And we're grateful to be a part of it here with each of you this day. And so as we begin, always like to begin with our affirmation of the day. And our affirmation today, the light of truth shines in my heart. So will you join me in affirming? The light of truth shines in my heart. Yes, it does. And let's rise and sing our opening song. We have new songs for the month, so let's call on our one source and one power.
God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything. Go to joy. Joy is my source. Joy is my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy gives me everything I need. Peace. Peace is my source. Peace is my power. Peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything. I put it all together. God is my source. Love is my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me all the peace I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. Beautiful.
I love that when it all came together. I think that was my favorite part. Good morning, everybody. I'm Dawn Pence, and I am so glad to be with you today. Let us begin our service together as we affirm our statement of truth. There is one presence and one power in the universe and in me, God the good omnipotence. Prayer is the basis on which Unity was founded. Our prayer chaplains pray for your requests for 30 days, sometimes even more. Our prayers are sent to Silent Unity to be prayed on at the same time, so that's double the prayer power. And we have prayer request forms on the back table by the prayer room if you'd like to put a request in, and we'll add you to the prayer log and get those prayers going. We also have Eugenia Moorfield and Roger Moorfield, the Moorfield team, today as our prayer chaplains for those who would like to pray in person. And for our digital viewers, if you have a prayer request, please click the button Prayer Request in your bulletin. Or you can leave a private message through Facebook Messenger. Eugenia is going to lead the prayer circle, and Roger's going to be offering one-on-one prayer. So the prayer circle will be after the service. We'll meet in this look at this beautiful round space we have now for our prayer circle. I love that. Yes, and Roger will be in the back by the prayer room for those who want one-on-one prayer. Please join us as you're called. And now, please join Reverend Kyra in prayer.
Thank you for putting the slide up that matched today. That was perfect. Who knew? I love how the universe has a divine design in everything. And isn't that what we're here to know and to feel the power of? So take this moment and come to that sacred place within, where we open our heart and our mind and our being to feel the power of this universe moving through us, this Christ consciousness, this essence and love and light of all. And we feel the power of this and say, thank you. Thank you, sweet Spirit, for bringing your presence, your light, your wonder and awe into our being, that we recognize the gift of life that we have. And we open our heart and our mind and our soul to feel the gratitude for life itself, for all the beauty and magnificence of this world, for every moment of love, that all I need to do is to open to the love within my own being, and to know there is this one source and this presence that is pouring love and peace and joy right here, right now. As I open to the realization of this in this moment, I find my inner being alert and awake and aware. And I transform my outer experience by that which I'm holding as truth in my being. That wherever I am, God is. I am as God is. And so we open ourselves and say, thank you. Thank you for reminding us to come to this place of peace, this place of inner harmony, this celebration that aligns our being with the highest expression to bring forth the greatest good for all in our world. And we bless every plant and every animal and every creature of the sea and the sky and the waters of the earth and the earth itself, that all may someday know peace, and that we may know this peace here now. And as we do, we send forth a mighty wave, not just a ripple, but a wave of peace and harmony and love, that whoever needs to feel that love, to be surrounded and comforted this day, that they feel the love flowing forth from the divine within, and from all of us unifying our thoughts, our minds, our feelings, as we send forth love into the world, and we feel that one divine presence here now and blessing each one, that they may know a moment of comfort wherever they may be. They may feel the presence moving in, through, and as them. We bless our children and our youth and the teachers, and we bless all of those that are serving in so many magnificent ways. And we bless this opportunity to serve with our light and our love, and today with our blood drive. We say thank you. Thank you. We truly are grateful for the gift of life, and so it is. Amen. And yes. Back to you, Dawn.
I love the image of a wave of peace just surrounding everybody in the world. That's just so beautiful. Thank you, Reverend Kyra. Okay, announcements. This week's announcements and all links to participate can be found in your Sunday e-bulletin, which was sent this morning at 7 a.m. And for our in-person folks, please visit the connection table, which is out in the foyer, to show your interest. Access to our updated newsletters and bulletins are easily found on our new website, www.unitybayareahouston.org. And you can click on the orange newsletter button at the top of the page. You may also call 281-554-2450 and leave a message requesting event details. And now here are the event details. The Unity Men's Group is going to be meeting June 7th, that's this Tuesday. The next meeting is at Noby Public House, yum, at 6:30. And the Unity Women's Ministry and Potluck will meet here, same day, but at 6 p.m. in the gathering room. The women will be joined by Cynthia Alds from Coalition to Combat Human Trafficking. We will be assembling hygiene bags for homeless and possibly trafficked persons. Please bring a dish to share, and together we will make a difference. And the last day to join prayer empowerment process is June 8th at 7 p.m. That's on Wednesday. Each week you'll have an opportunity to learn what Unity teaches about experiencing prayer in your life. Kyra started this class last week, and oh my gosh, we have such a great group, and it's such a powerful way to learn how prayer can just bring so much peace and abundance into your life. So join us if you are still thinking about it. You still have one more shot. Shining from Within number 6, that's going to be held this Saturday, June 11th. The theme is Caring for the Light Within. So this is about self-care and how are you at asking for help? Or what do you do to take care of yourself? So this workshop will walk you through identifying and distinguishing wants and needs. Did you guys know they're different? They are. We'll look at what happens when they get confused or even ignored. And through self-awareness and self-care, we work towards spiritual integrity. So as you probably know, each workshop is $35, but we also offer a fixed income discount, and there are some limited scholarships available. So if you want to join me, please let me know. Registration ends this Tuesday, which is June 7th, and you can sign up in the foyer, or you can click on the RSVP button in your e-bulletin. Did you know summer is going to be welcomed here at Unity on June 18th. That's going to be our welcoming summer day. It's going to be at 7 p.m. on the Labyrinth. Join Jihad Powell and the Unity Labyrinth drummers for this special evening. And then finally, Father's Day is the next day then, June 19th. Please join us and celebrate the divine masculine himself, Dad. Yeah. Now, please join me for our vision, mission, values, and affirmation. Our vision is a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of a shared spiritual awakening. Our mission is to inspire minds, awaken hearts, and empower lives through the teachings of Jesus Christ and other expressions of universal truth. In all that we are and all that we live, we value unconditional love, connection, authenticity, inclusivity, trust, and compassion. We are living relevant spirituality now.
Please rise. I sing my love, I sing my love, I sing my love into the world. I sing my love, I sing my love, I sing my love into the world. I sing my love, I sing my love, I sing my love into the world. I sing my love, I sing my love, I sing my love into the world. I dance my joy, I dance my joy, I dance my joy, I dance my joy into the world. I dance my joy, I dance my joy, I dance my joy into the world. I dance my joy, I dance love into the world. Yes, you do. Please be seated.
I almost forgot the glasses. Those are important. Some of you understand that, right? All right. Your presence here today is so precious to us all. Thank you for joining us this morning. We know some folks are joining us for the very first time, and we thank you for checking out Unity Bay Area Houston. If you'd like more information about our community and Unity teachings, you may connect with a greeter after the service or contact us through Messenger on our Facebook page, Unity Bay Area Houston. If you are looking for a spiritual place to be renewed or lifted, we would love to welcome you. And if you're here for the very first time and willing, please raise your hand. Any first-timers today? All right, we got the returning crew today. Anybody here for their third time? All right, welcome back. Third time's the charm after all. And so if you're new to us or a repeat visitor, we have a unique Unity gift to thank you. And please see the greeter. I think the greeter's going to see you, actually. You don't even have to do that. Isn't that amazing? All right. So together, let's share a welcome be blessing for the people who are here online for the first time, the people who are joining us in person for the third time, and for everybody who's here today. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. Thank you. Now, let's center in to receive today's daily word from Eugenia.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Are you ready for the daily word? Yes. Okay. The daily word, and I was talking to somebody about the truth before I came here, and it's the most beautiful thing. Imagine if everybody were to talk with the truth. It would be wonderful. But we can just manifest it among us. Sunday, June 5th, 2022. The light of truth shines in my heart. I like a telescope, shifting patterns of dazzling colors. My life is always changing. Some of the changes I may like and others I might not, but I accept the changes nonetheless. I enjoy pleasurable moments while learning and growing through the more unpleasant ones. No matter where I find myself along the spectrum of human experiences, I take comfort in spiritual truth. I find myself along a spectrum of human experience. I take comfort in spiritual truth. God is changeless, my rock and refuge in times of struggle, and the wings that lift me in times of ease and bliss. I remain steady and calm even as I navigate life's inevitable changes, finding lasting comfort in the truth of God as absolute goodness. As I travel along my unique path, the steady light of truth shines from within me. Now the Bible says, "Yet I am writing you a new commandment that is true in him and in you, because the darkness is passing away and the true light is already shining." 1 John 2:8. And I'd like to take a couple of minutes and read it in Spanish. Okay, I found it. I couldn't find it. I was going crazy here. But anyway. Verdad, domingo 5 de junio de 2022. Como los patrones de los colores de un caleidoscopio, mi vida cambia todo el tiempo. Algunos cambios pueden gustarme y otros no. Disfruto de los momentos placenteros mientras aprendo y crezco de los desagradables. No importa dónde me encuentre en el espectro de la experiencia humana, encuentro consuelo en la verdad espiritual. Dios es inmutable, mi roca y mi refugio en tiempos difíciles y las alas que me elevan en momentos de dicha. Me mantengo firme y calmado según navego por los cambios inevitables de la vida. Encuentro consuelo duradero en la verdad de la absoluta bondad de Dios. A medida que viajo por mi sendero único, la luz de la verdad brilla desde mi interior. La Biblia dice, esto que les escribo es un mandamiento nuevo que es verdad tanto en Cristo como en ustedes, porque la oscuridad va pasando y ya brilla la luz verdadera. 1 Juan 2:8. Que Dios los bendiga. God bless you.
I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. And I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. And I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child.
Beautiful. If you haven't already done so, I invite you to find that place within where you turn your attention to that light that shines within you. To know that there is this one source, this one presence, this light within that is always there to comfort and guide you in each and every moment. That regardless of what the outer world is doing, we turn to this sacred now, to this moment in space and time, and find that inner resource where the power of the universe, the power of the divine, the Christ light of our being is shining brightly to support and nurture and fulfill the highest good in our journey and in our lives. We let go the thoughts that would keep us in judgment and comparison and fear, and we open to the inpouring and the outpouring of love, of light that is shining a new awareness, that is moving us forward to bring forth a new life, a new experience, a new world. And it begins within each of us. So we open ourselves that this light pours through and gentles away any tension. Tension in our thoughts, tension in our feelings, tension in our body begins to just dissipate. And we feel the flow of this loving caress of the universe. Wrapped in the arms of this one presence and power, we experience ourselves rocked in the arms of God, knowing that we are one with this loving Spirit. And we allow ourselves to let go the tension in our shoulders and our torso and our inner organs. Our nervous system relaxes. And we allow ourselves to be in the flow of this one light, this one love that always is flowing in, through, and as us. And as we let go and allow, we accept the truth that we are made in the image and likeness of this one divine essence, that this Christ light in us cannot be dimmed by the experiences of our mind and our thoughts about the world. That light shines brightly always, and we open to the realization that that beautiful light, the flame of the Christ within, the flame of this divine source and this loving energy, is always here, gently nurturing, guiding, fulfilling us in ways we didn't even know we always needed. And yet here it is. And we are reminded to let go, to let God, to allow this universal oneness to embrace us, to love us, to move that love through us and as us. And as we relax into this now moment, we turn to the silence where we find the power of this beautiful light within. In the silence. As we open to this one divine light, we recognize the same light that shines within every soul. Whether we understand them or not, we feel the power of this love, and we build bridges of love between our hearts and others. For we know we are here to bring forth the divine and build a bridge of awareness in our world. And we are grateful. We're grateful that the love in us can do wonders beyond what our mind knows, what we have previously believed. And we expand our awareness that includes all, to recognize that all are in this field and are welcomed here and welcomed in our heart as we allow love to have its way in us this day. We say thank you. Thank you, sweet Spirit. Thank you, Christ consciousness. Thank you, love of all that moves in and through us. And we bring our awareness here to where we share together the words of our Lord's Prayer from an Aramaic translation. Together, beloved oneness, breathing life of all, holy is our essence. Create your reign of unity now. Your one desire acts with ours and vibrates light to form. Fulfill this day all need for bread and insight. Forgiveness releases us, and we remember wholeness. We are free from inner and outer deception and walk your path with joy. You are the power of these truths, and unite my words, thoughts, feelings, and actions through this prayer. In gratitude, my heart knows it is so. Amen. And yes.
I'd gladly walk across the desert with no shoes upon my feet, to share with you the last bite of bread I had to eat. I would swim out to save you in your sea of broken dreams, when all your hopes sinking. Let me show you what love means. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? I would whisper love so loudly every heart would understand that love and only love would join the tribes of man. I would give my heart's desire so that you might see. The first step is to realize that it all begins with you and me. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? When we stand together, it's our finest hour. We can do anything, anything, if we keep believing in the power. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? Don't you know it's time? Love and only love. Don't you know it's time?
Thank you, Patty Rabaza, and thank you, Winona Judd, for that beautiful song that we know has been in our hearts during this time of her passing. But it's also what inspired me in the process of what we're looking through life at this time and all the things that are occurring that would want to keep us believing in separation, that would want to keep us believing that we're separate from God and separate from one another. And how is it that we build bridges? And that we build those bridges with the love that is within us in ways that take us deeper into our relationship. First of all, with the core of our being, with the infinite side of our nature, but also with one another. I know that as we're going to look at this today, we're going to talk about 4 different pieces of building bridges. And first of all, recognizing the value of making that connection, and then seeing beyond what is. And then having the imagination and the will, using our divine powers within us to then bring forth something that seems impossible. Does anybody feel like sometimes it seems impossible where the world is right now? And yet we are called to not give up, to know that we're going forward in this bridge building and that we are the bridge builders. We're doing it with every thought and every feeling and every action that we take. And so as we begin this day, I want to share that, I love some of the amazing bridges in our world. And I watched a video one day on, I don't know, YouTube or something that was about this Amazon group, these group of natives in the Amazon jungle. And they were trying to get across the river and recognizing that they only certain seasons had the ability to cross the river safely. And they wanted to be able to get to the other side because the other side had access to different food sources and different things that were valued and to other tribes. And they wanted to make connections and found that these things were going to be very, very important to them. And yet, it seemed absolutely impossible how to, this huge chasm, and then to be able to create a bridge that it would cross it. And as I watched this video and saw what occurred in this community and these communities and how they came together to build this bridge, and they did things that seemed like absolutely impossible, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, the courage to do that was incredible. The courage that someone had to even envision the possibility of this bridge happening. And we are here to carry the vision of our soul, the vision that says all things are possible with God. That we have within us that which makes that which seems impossible possible. And we can bridge things that never looked like they would be healed or forgiveness would happen. And we can move through experiences of life and bring forth a different connection into both our own divine awareness, but also into the awareness of the gift and the value of one another. See, the truth is, our desire to bring forth that kind of connection, to know that no matter how much people are at odds with one another, different beliefs and different ways of viewing the world, that there is always a possibility of change. That there's always a potential for something that can bridge that gap between us. And do we approach our life, and do we approach one another with the idea that we can bridge that gap? That we can say yes to something that seems like we're at total different places, and yet there's a way that we can bring forth harmony in our world, peace in our soul, love in our hearts and minds that transform our experience. This week, we don't want this to continue beyond 12 and 13 into 15 and 16 and on into what is escalating the suicide rates amongst teens, or what is affecting, those that are out doing mass shootings. I mean, there's so much mental health challenge, and there's so much angst over situations that have to do with emotional connection and ability to really honor and celebrate one another right where we are, right? And if we don't get that at a young age, then it becomes more challenging to overcome our own thoughts, our own belief systems, our own ideas about how alone we are in the world. Has anybody ever felt alone out in the world, even though people are around you? Right? We have to build the bridge and recognize there's great value in the way that we handle every moment experience. It's recognizing this isn't a time to just get outraged, but it's a time to build a bridge. And so when we find those moments when something is outraging us, when something is causing us to feel either anger or fear or wanting to push against, that's the time we have to go within and find a deeper realization there is value in our creating a connection here. My niece, who is already, she's a marriage and family therapist and is brilliant. And some of you got to experience her in our Healing Our Trauma series, which is, if you want, is up on our YouTube channel and is quite profound. And she was such a catalyst, and so were the other families. I was so proud of the other father who immediately said, "Oh my gosh, this is so not okay." I really expected my son would be the one to stop all of them from doing any bullying. And they all took appropriate actions, right? What I know is that in that process, they created a deeper bond in that community. They created a deeper bond amongst those kids, learning what was going to be acceptable and what wasn't, what was appropriate action, why did it matter, and now to create relationship beyond what occurred. And that's what they're now generating. Now how do we create relationship rather than it being something that ends right there? So that's being worked on. And that to me is like the impossible bridge some days, right? Is when it doesn't seem like, how do you get the kids that are in these different ways of being who think it's cool to bully someone, to learn that that's not cool, and to be willing to instead ingratiate those that they've been pushing away. And I was so proud of my great niece, I'll have to say, because of her willingness to come home and talk about it, immediately and address the situation with her mom rather than act like it didn't happen, which is what we've done in our world. We want to act like things aren't affecting us, that we're not touched or we're not hurt or we're not experiencing something, rather than addressing it in a healthy way. In a healthy way to come find, where's the place that I can take the action that will help to build that bridge? When these communities came together to build these bridges, and I have various pictures of different bridges you'll see today, they first had to recognize there was value in creating that connection. Do you see the value in creating your connections with those who seem to have opposite viewpoints from you? Are you willing to value what they believe and think? We say in unity that we're about unity. We're about oneness. It doesn't mean we're about sameness. And I think it's important that we recognize that that means we're about honoring the diversity and honoring the inclusivity of every way of being, whether it's in agreement with me or not. Do I value that someone has come to that through their own experiences of life? Their own experiences have brought them to a belief system that this is where they are. They have the right to that belief. I may not agree with it, but I still value the connection, the relationship, more than I value being right. And this is an important lesson, because even in unity, we can be the ones that end up saying, oh, but they should be like this. right? The shoulds. I had my executive director at Arizona Interfaith Movement one time ask me if we had extremists in unity, and I said, well, we actually do, because if we believe somebody needs to believe like we do, then we've just taken on that same kind of a stance. Instead of saying, oh, okay, that's where you are, this is where I am, and, maybe we aren't going to agree, but that's okay. That's okay. So I think that it's very important as we recognize the value of honoring the diversity and what has brought us each to the place we have. What ideas have we carried, and we have to question and become curious about one another's ideas and why we are where we are in a given moment. What experiences have brought us to that stance, that place. And when we become curious, we become open to learning about someone, to getting to know them at a deeper level, to considering something other than making a stance for what we believe. I know in teaching listening years ago, one of the things we talked about is, first of all, you have to get quiet to learn listening. And you have to quiet your mind as you're listening to someone, to hear what they have to say, to listen with your whole being and your heart, and not be busy trying to make your comeback, figure out what you're going to say in response. So as we recognize that these are ways that we also open to the divine to give us another way of listening. To the divine in us will help us to help me. If I can't see the value in what someone is sharing, then I ask my divine, help me, open me, help me see another way of viewing and the perspective on this. And, when I heard about my great niece and, I wanted to be righteous, how dare they bully my niece who's brilliant and adorable and and then it was like, stop, all right. How do we embrace this in a different way for it to be a learning opportunity and an education for all of us and everyone engaged? And you can't get there when you're pushing against. You have to settle back and open to something greater to commune and communicate. And so the second step in our process as we recognize the value in us is to see beyond what is. Because sometimes we are stuck with what we see in this moment. Have you noticed that? I'm seeing this. Well, this is what is. Don't tell me that's not what is, because it is. And yes, that may be true. And there's something greater to see that I have not considered yet. I've not envisioned yet. What is it that is beyond the known that I am calling by this, and this out here? Because that divine awareness in me, that which embraces all, that which has created every single one of us, it recognizes there's a greater value, there's a greater understanding, there's a greater possibility than I can get to from my limited scope. In one of our great teachers in unity, Lessons in Truth by Emily Cady, in her book, she has an example of how, somebody thought they had the truth. And they say it's like they're looking through an aperture in a fence, and they're seeing through this aperture, and there is a meadow over there. Well, that's what is. It's a meadow. And the next person has a bigger opening, and they're looking through, and they go, oh, but there's a house over there, too. There's a meadow, and there's a house. And suddenly there's a new, are either of them saying truth? Absolutely. They have just different views and awareness by how large is our aperture. How large is our willingness to see beyond what we think we know in a given moment, and open to know that there is something greater that the divine view has that we haven't seen yet. The third person had an even bigger view, and they saw a lake and a house and a meadow. And so there is something more in the picture than we have the ability to see, and yet our being able to see beyond it opens up the possibility again of something new being generated. And so in this journey, we are being called to go beyond what we've known and see that there's something greater, and I'm willing to see it. I'm willing to be informed. I'm willing to receive new information. And that's why we have to be curious, right? So in order to build that bridge, I may have to consider things I never considered before. You know, I didn't know how these Amazonians that I told you about that built their bridge, they had never made rope out of this particular tree bark before. And yet what they figured out, they learned and they studied and they tried to find a way of how can we get something strong enough. And they found a way by paying attention to the trees and the vines and the different things. And they learned from the world how to make these ropes and to braid them together in ways that created enough strength. And so we get to open up to something new that will help us build the bridge that we didn't even recognize before was a resource available to us. So in this journey of moving beyond and seeing that not only are we seeing beyond what is, now we're going to the place where we are using our imagination. You know, in Unity, we teach from Charles Fillmore, our co-founder, the 12 powers of the human. The 12 powers recognize that we all have these powers within us that when activated at the level of Christ consciousness will open us to activate the full Christ consciousness awareness. And that we believe we're all here to be that Christ consciousness. To be that which is bringing a higher realization into our own awareness so we can bring that out into the world. And we do that by activating these different powers. Well, two of them that I think are especially important in bridge building are imagination and will. See, our imagination, we have to be able to imagine that it's already done. You know, any of the law of attraction or different things will teach you, prosperity courses will teach you, you imagine it already done, whatever you desire. So then the universe has a very clear signal from you that this is what I desire. A bridge across this river, a bridge across this divide amongst us, a bridge to the divine where it is a living presence within me, a bridge to this person to find forgiveness and to have a renewed relationship. Whatever that bridge is you're seeking to build, imagine it already done. Experience, and what that means when we imagine, it's not just a visual, it's in a whole living experience, that I'm in the experience of it, of already having had this experience, this brought to fruition. And so what is it? I'm celebrating it. I'm in joy. I'm experiencing the beauty and the value of that connection again. So when we are using our imagination, we come into that. But then it takes willpower, right? It doesn't just always happen. It may take action on our part. It took action from these folks in the Amazon jungle to build that bridge. From some of the other bridges we're going to see, they had to really imagine what are other possibilities we haven't considered. The bridge you'll see later from Denmark to Sweden, that is one of the largest bridge constructs ever. It's the longest bridge in the world. And that bridge, this one, they had to go through a lot of things to say, oh wait, this one, like it's been done before, isn't going to work for us for this reason. We have to now go beyond to imagine even more and then have the will to say, well, what will work? What action do I need to take? What is it that is going to inspire me and inspire the other side to come together in this, to bring forth something new that we haven't had before? Right? Something that we haven't experienced in the past, beyond everything we've ever known to try. What if our imagination and then our will, and our will is really the place where we surrender our ego, right? We surrender our ego to something greater, and we call in a divine will in us. That which is the divine will guide us then as to what our next step is. Because sometimes our greatest inventions in our world happened when that person surrendered and then the inspired idea came in. But when we're holding on to an idea with our ego will, we don't open the space for the divine will to give us the inspiration to take the next action. So we have to let go of our position. And I've often said that I believe the minute we take a position, we create opposition. So what if I let go of my position? This is challenging, isn't it? Yeah, we all think our position is right. We have proof. We've validated it a lot of ways, right? We can tell you all the reasons this position is the right one, right? But what if there's something more we haven't considered? There's something further that from that greater view can inspire us to move beyond that position and the opposition that it created and open the space, open the consciousness, open the possibility for something greater than we could have possibly understood was possible before. And in this journey, we begin to find the healing. We find the healing in ourselves. We let go of that need to be right. We let go of those ways that we think someone should understand us. You know, the prayer of St. Francis says, let me be to understand rather than to be understood. And are we busy trying to understand others or to be understood? So that means I've got a position, is what that means ultimately. So we get to say, oh, you know, let me let that go. Let me let that go. And have you ever had a situation in your life where you were sure, absolutely sure you were right about something, and you created a big fuss about it, and then found out you were wrong? I remember my friends and I, years ago, we were at a party, and I don't know, somehow we were discussing the lyrics to Camptown Races, you know? And we had different ideas of what the actual lyrics were, all right? And this is back before we had Google on our phones and all of that at our access at that time. And each of us were so sure. I had a boss one time that told me, she said, well, I don't think I've ever known anybody who could be so sure of themselves and be so wrong. I was like, I guess I better look at that, you know. So I got to examine how sure I was of myself, even when I didn't know. And oftentimes that's what came back and helped me understand then a new perspective, a bigger awareness, and a greater understanding. So as we let go of our will and say we let go of the ego will and we open to a divine will, it means we create the space for all the possibilities, for the inclusivity of all ideas that are beyond what we could have known. So the imagination and the will are the powers that get activated in us in this process. And as we do that, then we move into the next phase, is that we don't give up, right? Because we make an attempt and it didn't work, then we think, oh, now I have to give up. And so I love all the people that are going out and giving blood. As they step out, they're headed to give blood at the Bloodmobile. Thank you. I think that one of the things we have to recognize, because you've made an attempt in the past and it didn't work out, things didn't happen, then we get this place in us that feels wounded and protective. And maybe it's not worth my trying again because it's not going to work. You know, and yet this is where we go back to reconnecting to the value of making that connection and saying, but this is a different time. And especially right now in our world, this is a time different than any we've ever been in. Those that are listening to guides in different ways have said that we've already won, the light has already won. We just haven't caught up with it yet. And what if this world has already made this transition into a place of peace and harmony, and we're learning how to apply our part in it, our part of being willing to let go and follow what the truth is at the divine level, which is we are one, right? We say these things, and yet do we really live into them? Are we willing to let go of the hurt or the wound or the fear or the doubt that I can do it or that it's going to work, and begin to try again? Make another attempt. Go at it a different way. Let go of it being a sensitive area for me or a personal wounding. And instead, no, I'm willing to let that fuel me to try even harder. Work at it in a new way. Open to a new possibility. See, we are also at this time in our world releasing the wounds that we've carried for generations. We've carried them in our soul. We carry them in ways that we feel that taking things personally, and we all know not to do that according to Don Miguel Ruiz, but we still tend to take everything personally, right? And our letting go of taking it personally and recognizing this is the time where those things that are up so that we can release those old woundings and not carry that forth in the world to where we push against, but instead we embrace and welcome in. And when we embrace and welcome in the new ideas, the new ways of being, welcome one another as we are in our diversity and our uniqueness, and we seek to understand rather than to be understood, then suddenly we start to come up with the creative flow. We live into that creative flow, and we begin to build bridges that we thought were impossible. It was beautiful to watch this video on this Amazonian group as they built this bridge. And they struggled and they had challenges, and then they'd go back at it again, and they ended up creating this bridge across this huge chasm. Much like that first slide I showed you, it was a bridge made of rope, and it looked pretty precarious. And but they were thrilled, because what they discovered was that they could make this, and they could carry goods back and forth, and they could reunite with those across the way. And they weren't at the mercy of the elements that would not allow them at a particular time to cross that bridge. Sometimes we felt at the mercy of the elements around us. But the truth is, we've been given the gift of thought. We've been given the gift of imagination. We've been given the gift of will. We've been given the gift of being able to know that that connection is more valuable than anything else. So let us lift ourselves up and build bridges of love. Love can tear down the toughest walls. Love can free us from the unforgiveness within ourselves. Love can set free others to be who they are here to be. So let us open our heart, our mind, our being, and build those bridges. All right. Blessings to all of you. Have a fabulous week, and go build those bridges of love. And this is the time when we say thank you and acknowledge all the gifts and all the givers that bless this ministry so powerfully to allow us to continue to build the bridges that we're building. The beauty and magnificence of our living sanctuary out here, the beauty of this space and all of you, and the opportunity to raise awareness together of a divine source and find that inner freedom. So let's take our gifts in our hands. Whether you're giving them online, you can bless them from that space, or you can bless them here. Take these gifts and let us share from our heart and soul. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive. Thank you, God. And we bless all the blood givers today. That's another way of giving our lifeblood, right? It's so beautiful because our world needs it right now. So thank you for all of you as well. So together, we know there are many ways that you can send your gifts in. You can text 281-595-1648. You can click the link in your e-newsletter. You can go onto our website. And so and of course, we always accept checks and cash. That's always a blessing. And credit cards. All of it, all of the above. So thank you very much for every gift. If it jingles, it spends. I love it. All right, so let's just turn it back over to our ushers and to Ellen and Patty. Thank you.
One day, 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 one day. Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. And then I pray, don't take me soon, because I'm here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more war, and our children will play one day, 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 one day. Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon, because I'm here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and the children will play one day, 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 one day. One day it's gonna change. I messed that part up. Hold on. One day it's gonna change. We'll treat people all the same. Stop with the violence, stop with the hate. One day we'll see, and we're proud to be under the same sun, singing from the same song. One day, 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 one day. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play one day, 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 one day. Choir of Angels.
And so it is, and so it shall be. So together we're going to bless these offerings and all the ways that so many people serve this ministry. We want to bless every giver of the gifts of their talents as well as their treasures and their time. And so as we take this into our hearts, we share this affirmation. We celebrate divine abundance. We gratefully live, breathe, and experience abundance and generosity. Thank you, God, for the flow of resources through our ministry to bless the world. We rejoice as all our prayers are answered. We are grateful, blessed, and prosperous. Yes, we are. Thank you, God, and so it is. And so we're going to rise together.
I have a special
Oh, wait.
surprise announcement. So as you know, because I've been talking about it for 3 months, Reverend Kyra's Silver Celestial Celebration will be on the 25th of June. What time is it?
2 to 5.
It's her 25th anniversary. It's on June what? 25th. I dare you to forget it. You are cordially invited to the celebration of Reverend Kyra Bear's 25 years of ministry. We would love to see you in person, and we will also have a Zoom at 3:30 for those who wish to join us digitally. Go back one slide, please. Please click the button in your bulletin to RSVP and to request the Zoom link, or email me directly, ellenraj@gmail.com. Personal emailed messages and YouTube videos are also welcome. For her anniversary, Reverend Kyra is requesting a church fundraiser to support our very special Sacred Spiritual Center, Unity Bay Area, Houston. So please text to give at 281-595-1648, then choose the fund category, Kyra's 25th Anniversary. There's also a Facebook campaign available at the Unity Bay Area Houston Facebook page. I did print out a couple of these. You will be bombarded with these digitally, but if you would like to have these, I printed a couple of them out. They're up there. And also for those who are not doing computers or have a hard time accessing, there's also an events page that I've printed out for a handful for people.
And I want to say thank you in advance for all the support that I've received over the years to stay in ministry, to fulfill that which is my purpose. Today is actually my 25-year anniversary of being a minister. You may not know the attrition rate of ministers. It is very, very high, and so it is a big deal to stay 25 years in ministry, and I'm grateful. Great to be in this community and the other communities that I've served, Unity of Mesa, Unity of Divine Love, the ministry that I pioneered, which is now Unity of Tempe. And I just want to say that it is a privilege to be in service and to fulfill that which is mine to do and to be and to share as a minister. And thank you. And thank you, because it is because of you that I am here doing what I do. So I appreciate each one of you. Thank you. Thank you. And so now we will have a prayer circle after service. I hear that Eugenia will be leading the prayer circle, and Roger will be available for individual prayer in the back. And let's do our closing song today is
I Release.
I Release. We love it. You ready? Woo!
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle and no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle and no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle and no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. yes, I'm only here for God.
Woo! Thank you. And so we join in our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The presence of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. God bless you, friends, and we close out by saying, Yay, God! Or, yay, great compassionate light. Yeah.